What's the culture like at your dealership? Do you meet resistance when introducing new ideas or processes? How can you turn a great culture into increased profits at your store? These answers and more in this Dealer 60 video. I'm Danny Benites. What's the culture like at your dealership? What do your people respond to? Negatively, positively? Is it fear? Is it intimidation? Are they afraid they're going to disappoint you? I mean, what is it that motivates your people? I felt like it's been important to change the culture of this dealership that I currently work at. And I would just ask for you to examine what's going on at your store from a culture standpoint. What do people talk about when you're not around? What are the salespeople talking about out on the porch? What are your managers talking about? How do they feel about the job that you're doing? How do they feel about the direction of the store? Do they feel like they're involved in the future of the store? Are you making them a part of the solution and not a part of the problem? Does what they have to say matter to you? Or are you just giving them lip service? Listen, your culture of your dealership is invaluable. I know there's a lot of people out there, maybe some old school people, that say, you know, if you create a good culture, well, then you're weak and you're going to let your people run all over you. You know, that's great. And that was fun about 20 years ago when we just walked around with an iron hammer and yelled and screamed and all this stuff. People were everywhere. Business was everywhere. Let me tell you, we live in a different world now. Our customers are smarter. And if you don't think the employees are more particular and smarter now than ever, then you're crazy. Look up information on millennials and find out what they're looking for when they find a place to work. They're looking for something completely different than people in my generation. We were looking for money. We were looking for all these material things. Let me tell you, surveys have been done here lately, and their income or their salary is number 4. Several other things are more important. They want to know about vacation. They want to know about incentives. They want to know what kind of culture is going on at the dealership. Is their voice going to be heard? These are the things people want to know before they come to work for you. Now let's skip ahead to when they do work for you. Well, let's not use those principles to just get those people to become an employee. Let's keep them. Let's talk about longevity plans. Let's talk about making people feel like they're a part of the big picture. You need to have a mission statement. You need to have a vision statement. Everyone needs to be singing off the same song sheet. What I'm going to ask you to do is try to implement a servant-style management philosophy at your dealership. We all know the pyramid of business. What happens is at the very top you have your CEO or your president, or in our cases your dealer or general manager. And basically everybody works for that person. You start at the bottom of the pyramid and you have the lot porters or whatever, and they kind of work for the salespeople. The salespeople work for their assistant managers or desk managers. Their desk managers work for their sales managers. The sales manager works for the general sales manager, and he works for the general manager or the dealer principal. Same in service and parts. Just comes up a different branch. But what happens is this pyramid, there's some big figurehead at the top that's barking orders down. One thing you'll never hear me do, and one thing I would ask you to not do, is say, oh, I remember so-and-so, they used to work for me. Or all these people that work for me are the important part. Well, quit saying they work for you. Let's take this pyramid and let's turn it upside down. Okay? Let's take you, if you're the general manager, or wherever you fall in line on this pyramid. And I'm really speaking to people in upper management now. Dealer principals, general managers, general sales managers, and even sales managers. What I want you to do is take the pyramid, flip it upside down, and understand that myself, for example, as the general manager of a dealership, my job is to work for my sales managers or my general sales manager. So my job is to be their cheerleader, to give them the processes, the promotions, all the 4 Ps, give them all the tools, the technology, the encouragement that they need to be successful. If they tell me they need something, and I believe that they do need it, then I'm going to give it to them. I think it's crazy to not respond to those things. And if I'm going to work for them, then I need to give them the tools to succeed. They, in turn, work for the salespeople. They need to know that they need to give the salespeople all the tools, technology, information, guiding, coaching, teaching, whatever, all that they need to be successful. So they in turn work for the salespeople. The salespeople work for the porters, work for the customer, who's the ultimate boss here. Now, Harvard Business School said that this inverted pyramid would not work. Well, go tell that to Truett Cathy, the CEO and founder of Chick-fil-A. Tell it to Herb Kelleher, the person who founded Southwest Airlines. The inverted pyramid works, and you have to adopt a word: servant, servanthood. You need to become a servant. And if we all have that servant mentality, when it comes to the customer, we're here to serve the customer. But it begins at the bottom. Notice I didn't say it starts at the top. Fish rots at the head. Let me tell you, let's put it at the bottom, because that's where we need to begin as general managers and general sales managers, is at the bottom. I used to work prison ministry. We would go out. I worked it for 7 years. We would go out to the prisons. And part of the things that we did there, it was a ministry. But one of the things we did is we served them. These people have not had meals of any consequence for a long time. They have packaged meals, processed meats. And what we would do as part of our ministry is we would feed them and let them know that they're important. They've made huge mistakes. And make no mistake, our philosophy wasn't to bust them out of there. We didn't feel like they didn't belong there, but we were there to love on them and serve them. But something magical happened when we served them. We could talk to them, we could go there, we could do all these other things. But when we would set food in front of them that we prepared and set it in front and serve them and ask them if they needed anything else, the looks on their face, I can't describe. I've seen grown men bawl uncontrollably over a banana because they hadn't had a banana in 15 years. And that servanthood made so much difference. Now, I'm not asking you to serve your salespeople bananas or food. That may not be the answer. So what I'm asking you to have that servant's heart when you're dealing with your employees and when they're dealing with the people. Now, we're going to go to culture and how this wraps around. If you have a servant heart, it will change the culture. The culture doesn't have a chance when you start doing things like this. The culture will just change. There's not a checklist. There's not some a formal way to do this. You have to change the hearts and the minds of the people around you, and it starts with you. And I don't care who you are. If you're the general manager, general sales manager, whatever. There are people that you can serve, whether it's the customer, whether it's the porters, whether it's the finance man, whatever. If there's someone you can serve, you need to get to serving them. Culture is not something you do. Culture is something you create and then you live out. It's just an understanding. And when that understanding takes place, your employees will do anything that you ask. You don't have to tell them to do it. They just do it because the last thing they want to do is disappoint you and disrupt the culture that's so hard to create. I've been here many years. We don't have arguments over split car deals. You're going, what? And people say, well, what do you do about a split car deal? What if you got to get tough? I got news for you. We don't have them. We don't have problems over split deals. Occasionally there'll be a discrepancy. They'll work it out, and they shake hands and go on. Every day I look outside and I see license tags being put on customers' cars by a salesperson who didn't sell the car because they're chipping in and helping their fellow teammate. They're not being compensated materially, but they're being compensated by getting to work in a dealership that has a terrific culture. There's just so many things. This contributes to ESI. Why do we always talk about CSI when we need to be talking about ESI as well? Employee Satisfaction Index. Are employees happy? If the culture's right, they're going to be happy. Herb Kelleher, I mentioned earlier, he's the one that founded Southwest Airlines on the principles of customers are number 2. Employees are number 1. He felt very strongly that if you took care of your employees and you treated your employees properly, that they would automatically take care of your customers. If your employees feel special and feel valued and that they're part of something, well, then they're going to treat your customers great. Your CSI will take care of itself if you have a high ESI. So many times I talk to dealers, and they, if you don't have a high CSI, then you get yelled at or screamed at or whatever. Or the worst thing that I see is that they bribe people to get good CSI. They bribe their salespeople. Hey, we're going to pay you $50 if you get a good survey. And meanwhile, the salesperson's telling the customer, tell you what, I'll give you $20. I'm getting $50. I'll give you $20. I'll keep $30. All of a sudden, it's a transaction. That's ridiculous. I've had people all the time that call and say, Danny, why is your CSI so high? What are you doing? What's your secret? Are you paying them? Are you paying the customer? Why is your CSI so high? And I say, great. Do you have a pen handy? They go, yes. Okay, great. Now write this down. This is important, and it's very, very difficult. Here's what we do. We satisfy our customers. Yes, that's what we do. We actually make them happy. We satisfy them. So when they fill out the report, they honestly put that they are completely satisfied, because that's what we do. We satisfy our employees. We have good employee satisfaction. We then satisfy our customers, and we have good customer satisfaction. It's kind of simple. We try to overthink all these things. We try to come up with these elaborate, crazy ideas to jack up our CSI. Are you kidding me? Let's just satisfy our customers. Let's just satisfy our employees. Let's just take care of the people that are taking care of us. What happens is when we hit certain CSI benchmarks for the month or for the quarter, we will prepare food for our employees. I call it serving those who serve our customers. So what I like to do is occasionally we'll go back to the service drive, we'll pop the grill out, I'll go get some bratwurst and some buns, put on the apron. I would suggest go get an apron and have the word servant put across the front. Because if they don't notice that you're being servant, we'll spell it out for them. Okay? Put the apron on. And I hope I'm talking to you, Mr. Dealer Principal, owner of 10 dealerships, big vacation home, whatever. Let's get down to the brass tacks. Roll up your sleeves, put on an apron that says servant, look the lot porter in the eye that makes $7 an hour, $8 an hour, whatever, and say, would you like some mustard on this bratwurst? And then you serve them. Look at the look in their face. They're in the back going, wow, the general manager, the sales manager, the dealer principal made me a hot dog. Or it's just saying, I'm here to serve you. Thank you for serving our people. I'm here to serve you. I cannot tell you the difference it'll make in your culture. You don't have to do anything, do exercises. You don't have to hold hands and sing Kumbaya, and you don't have to do all these things. Just be a servant. It just works. Let me tell you, here's where culture meets the bottom line. This is the title of this video blog, where culture meets the bottom line. Now, we're all saying, oh, that sounds good. Now we're going to skip around and all going to have balloons and talk about puppy dogs. And no, let me tell you where it turns into money. Here's where it happens, because that's what we're here for. This is fun. I love my job, but it's not a hobby. It's my job. And we're here to make money. Let me tell you where this translates to the bottom line. When you come home from a seminar or someplace, an idea session, a 20 group, and you come home as a general manager, as a dealer, as a sales manager, whatever, with this bevy of ideas, all these great things that you want to implement, and you come in, you say, come here, team, let me tell you what we're going to do. I heard about this, I heard about this, I heard about this, boom, boom, boom. If you've created the right culture, your people will jump up, run through the wall to get it done. Have you seen the cartoons where you look and all of a sudden there's this hole, in the wall like that? There will be a bunch of those in your meeting room after you tell them about some exciting idea. Because when you're excited, they're excited. Why? Because they're a part of a big picture, because you've made them a part and you've kept them a part of this big picture. So when you give them some great idea that you want to try, something crazy and outside the box, man, they believe you. Because they know you're the guy out there serving them hot dogs. You're the guy that is passionate. You're the guy that asks them about their family. You're the guy that asks them what it is that they want to accomplish. What are their hopes and dreams? And you understand what they are, and you play to those, and you put them in the right spot. Well, they believe you, and they'll go to war for you. You can say, oh, this is new age, psychobabble, whatever. Whatever. It's worked. It's worked for me. That's why places I've been have doubled and tripled sales. And it's not because I have some really neat word tracks and some really idea of whether you should use a Sharpie or not use a Sharpie, or if you should have a sales tower or not have a sales tower, or when the manager interacts and when he comes in and when he does this and all these neat things. Those are great. And those are all things that we do. We implement all those things. But let me tell you, if you're not going backwards in creating the right culture, none of these other things make any difference. You can spend a lot of money going to conferences, and you can spend a lot of money going to classes, and you can do all this other stuff. It doesn't mean anything if your people aren't going to take your ideas and run with them and believe in you. And they're not on the front porch at this moment sabotaging the ideas that you bring, because all they know is that you're going to come cream them the next time they make a mistake. Now, what's all this mean? This means create a culture. It takes a while, and it starts with you. And you have to understand servant management. Put yourself at the bottom of the pyramid. Start working for the people that you used to say worked for you. You are working for them. They're working for the next people. You all work for the customer, and you're going to be amazed at the difference in your culture. I'm Danny Benites. Thanks for tuning in.